Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. Uh, y'all, this video is coming to y'all late. It's Tuesday, October 29th, and the time is 8:32 p.m. Y'all, I was asleep off and on all day long. All day long. I told y'all the last video I did, me and my husband trying out the McDonald's Big Mac chicken. I told you my eyes were swollen. I had a cold. I still have a cold, but my eyes went down a little bit. They still swollen, but they went down a little bit. My face is still somewhat pale. I wanted to go see my mother this weekend, but my sister lives upstairs from my mother, and my sister just announced to me the other day that she has COVID, so I'm not going nowhere near there. I'm not about to even try to play with COVID. That girl, she got an attitude problem, and I'm not here for it. So I'm here, and now I already have a cold. So if I go over there, you know, COVID is in the air. I can feel it in the air. You know, I'm not messing with her. I already have a cold. So if I go over there where COVID is just lurking around, waiting for somebody to say something to her so she can start popping off, I'm not going to be the one to pop off. I'm not going to be the one. I'm sorry. Because she got an attitude, and she can stay right there where she at. Once my sister tell me that she's feeling better, then, you know, and she has the okay from her doctor that she's fine and all this, that, and the third, I'm going to tell her, spray the house down with some Lysol or whatever, and then I'll come see my mother. But until then, I'm not messing with her. Now, so y'all, this today is going to be a little story time. Now, this here is about when I found out that my so-called friend wasn't my friend anymore. Now, when me and my husband bought our house, I was 24, he was 25, and we moved on in East New York, right? And the neighbors across the street was, it was a husband and wife. They had 2 daughters and a son. The oldest daughter, her name was Faye. She was curious about who we were, so she made it her business to come over, and, you know, she was very bold with it. She just came over. One time she actually walked in my house, and I came downstairs, and she was in my living room, and she was talking about how she was looking for her little sister, because my daughter and her little sister was going to school together, and they wound up becoming friends. So when her mother was looking for her little sister, because it was time for them to eat dinner or whatever, so she came and walked in my house. So I cursed her ass out. I was like, who the fuck are you? And what are you doing in my fucking house? And she was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking for my little sister, LaJenna. She plays with the little girl. I think her name is Renee, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, that's my daughter. I said, okay, I understand all of that, but who told you to just walk in my fucking house? And she said, oh, the door was open, and I called and nobody answered, so I came in. I said, I don't give a goddamn if the door was wide the fuck open and then there was a sign saying welcome. You don't just walk in nobody's fucking house without announcing yourself or asking permission, because shit like that will get you hurt. So she was like, she smiled a little bit. I'm sorry, I'm the neighbor across the street, blah, 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 blah. You know, my father, his name is Frank, da, 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 da. She gave me all that. And I was still pissed off because you don't do shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, all right. So I cursed out, da, da, da. And she apologized, whatever. And then she left. And that was that. So I never said anything to her after that, as far as, you know, if I see your sister, I'll tell her to come across the street and come home because it's time to eat dinner. I never said nothing like that. After I cursed out and she said her piece and she apologized, she walked back out. And when she walked out, I went behind her and I locked my fucking door. And I was like, this bitch got a lot of fucking nerve. Which I didn't trust that, because I'm going to tell you, my husband used to be outside all the time, like sweeping the front yard and stuff like that, and sweeping out the driveway and all this and the third. So honestly, I think she was curious to see who he was. That's what I think. Until till today, I still feel that that's what that was about. She was looking. She seen a young guy. I can remember when we bought our house. I was 24. He was 25. You know what I'm saying? So we were both really young, and I think she's a year older than my husband. So she seen this light skinned man. At the time my husband had his hair. So my husband, he gets his hair cut because he can't stand having long hair, whatever. But his hair was nice and long. So my husband, he's mixed, white, Jewish, and Jamaican. So, and his hair is jet black, and his hair was real curly and really pretty. And sometimes he would wear it out, or sometimes I would put like 3 ponytails in his head and stuff like that. So, and he used to go outside and sweep in the front yard and sweeping or whatever. And I think she used to look from her window across the street and was curious to know who he was. And I think that's why she made her little fast ass over into my house to see. She was probably hoping she would get a glimpse of him, but she got me instead. So anyway, she left out, and that was that. So like a few days later, her little sister was outside with my daughter. And the daughter I'm talking about is my flight attendant daughter. Her sister and my daughter was the same age. So she came across the street with my daughter, and she was playing with my daughter. And I asked her about her sister. I was like, I said, somebody came here looking for you. A woman came here looking for you. Well, she said her name was Faye or whatever. And she came looking for you because your mother was looking for you because it was time for you to eat dinner. And she said, oh, yeah, that's my sister Faye, da-da-da-da. I said, oh, okay. I said, she live with y'all? And she said, yeah, she lives with us. And I said, okay. And I said, yeah, because she came here and she just walked in my house. I said, and I had to let her know, you don't walk in people's house like that. I said, but she's old enough to where she's supposed to know better than that. Because after all, her sister is older than me. Her sister is 2 years older than me. So when I was 24, she was 26 at this time. Because remember, I was 24, my husband was 25, so she was 26 years old. Yeah. So that was that. And then I think I didn't see the little girl no more after that for about maybe a month after that. And then it was like a month later, and I happened to see her sister standing on the stoop, sweeping the steps. She was sweeping the steps. She had on some shorts and kind of like a crop top shirt on. And when she seen me outside, because I came outside to get my mail, to look in the mailbox to get my mail, and she seen me and she waved, And so I was just like, and I went back in the house, closed the door. So after that, it's like 2 days after that, my husband was across the street talking to her father, which it wasn't her biological father, her stepfather. And he was talking to her father, and she's standing there on top of the step. And my husband is standing at the gate. Her father was on the other side of the gate, and my husband was on the outside of the gate, and he's talking to them. Well, he's talking to him, and she's standing there and, posing and shit. So I'm looking at her and stuff, and I'm just clocking shit. I'm just clocking shit because I'm like, you done already made your way in my fucking house. And now my husband is standing there talking to your father, and you're standing there trying to be noticed. Right? So she's standing there and stuff, smiling and, or whatever. So I didn't say nothing. I came across the street because, see, one thing about me, I'm not that type of woman that is going to jump to, oh, that's my husband. I'm not about to do that, all right? Because one, I trust my husband. Two, if you disrespect me, then I gotta come out my face. Now, one, I don't know if she knew if he was my husband, my brother, cousin, da 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 da. I don't know. So I can't jump to conclusions and assume that she knows this is my husband and she's still trying to be cute in front of him. As far as she know, only person she saw was me, and she knew about my oldest daughter. She had never saw my other two kids, because at the time I only had 3 kids in the house. So she didn't see my other 2 kids. My husband, when she made her way in my house, my husband was at work. So she's trying to figure out who's living in the house and who is what. So she never saw my husband. So when he was across the street talking to her father, I can't be sure that she knew that that was my husband, or if he could have been a brother, because at that time she don't know who had moved into the house next door. I mean, across the street. She just saw me and my oldest daughter. That's it. So she, trying to be cute, blah, 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 blah. So he came across the street after he finished talking to the father. And I was like, who was that you was talking to? Oh, it's a gnat in here. And he was like, oh, I was talking to our neighbor. His name is Frankie. That's his house across the street. And he lives over there, his wife, and they got 3 kids. He got a oldest daughter, which isn't his daughter, it's his stepdaughter. When he married the mother, the stepdaughter was about 5, and he raised her. And then him and the wife got married, and they had two kids, a boy and a girl. And, so they all live across the street. I said, okay, so that must have been the chick that came in here the other day, the oldest one, da da da. So he was like, she came in here. And I explained to him what happened and all of that. And he was like, and you ain't whip her ass? I was like, no, I didn't whip her ass. I said, but I did tell her, you don't walk in nobody's house. I said I did curse her out. Let her know you don't walk up in nobody's house because you get yourself hurt doing shit like that, blah, blah, blah. And she apologized and all of that. I said, but I noticed she was standing across the street, standing in the yard on top of the stairs, like posing or some shit. He said, yeah, I wasn't paying that motherfucker no mind. This, that, and the third. He said, I spoke to the father because I said, well, how did you wind up making your way across the street? He said that he was in the yard pulling up some weeds out of the yard, because I had planted some flowers in the front yard, and he was pulling some weeds out. And when he pulled the weeds out, the father asked him if he wanted a beer. And so he said, yeah. So he went across the street to get a beer from the father, and the father introduced himself. Hey, my name is Frankie, and da da da. Here's a beer. You look like you hot over there, da da da. So he took the beer, and that's how they met. And he was just explaining to him who he was. So my husband was explaining to him, it's me, my wife, and my kids, da 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 da. Now I don't know if she heard that when he was saying it, but she was, she had herself propped up on the steps, like, like she was waiting for him to say something to her. So after that, I'm assuming that after that, the husband must have went inside and told his wife and the kids that he met the neighbors, the new people that bought the house across the street. Because after that, she never came out the house or came across the street or propped herself on the stoop or anything like that. So it was months came past. This was during the winter. We bought our house in November. And actually, we had bought our house maybe about 3 or 4 days before Thanksgiving. And so months went past. It got cold, so we wasn't seeing nobody outside. So once we got into like around Mother's Day, that's when I seen her again. I think it was Mother's Day. She came outside, and she was dressed, she had one son at that time. And she was dressed like she was going to church or something like that. But she, she came across the street and she introduced her. How you doing? My name is Faye. Remember I came to your house that one time, and your husband was talking to my father. So when she said your husband, I'm like, I never told you I had a husband when we first met. So that means her father must have told them I met the neighbor and he said da da da. So I was like, yeah, how you doing? And she said, I'm good. This, that, and the third. She was like, Happy Mother's Day. And I was like, yeah, same to you. Because I was assuming that that was her son because she was holding his hand. She said, this my son Junior. And so I was like, hey, little boy, how you doing? Da, da, da. So he was like, hi, and she's like, well, welcome to the neighborhood. If I didn't say it before, welcome to the neighborhood. And I was like, yeah, thank you. Just saying it there. So over time, I'm going to speed this up. Over time, she would come across the street. I would come across the street, talk to her mother, her father. I forgot what nationality they are. I think her father's Panamanian or something like that. But over time, like her father would buy like duck. He would cook duck, and whenever he cooked, he would always, like, if he made a special dish like duck or something like that, he would bring some for us across the street. So he made duck, and he used to bring a pot. Like, he would make a big pot, and then he would make like a big dish for the whole family, for my whole family to have some. And like when he used to get bread from the West Indian spot, the sweet bread, he would always bring us some. When he bought some for his family, he would always bring us some. It never fails. He would always bring us some. Like one time he made armadillo with rice and some kind of vegetable. And I told him to take that back. I said, I don't eat that. He said, try it, just try it. I was like, no, it looks like a hardback rat. I'm not messing with that. I'm sorry. I'm not doing the armadillo. He was cracking up. He was laughing. He said, you gotta just try it. No, right? I was pushing it with the duck, okay? But I'm not eating nobody's armadillo, okay? It's not happening. In his country, they catch him, and that was like a delicacy, the armadillo, eating snake and all this type of stuff. He showed us pictures of him cooking up the armadillo in his country, and I'm not, no, thank you. Take it back, please. No, this is not what I ordered. No, thank you. But he's a nice guy, really nice guy, and her mother was a nice guy. I mean, nice woman. Her mother was nice too. Now, so over time, me and her got cool. We got cool. But I was heavy set. I was very heavy at this time. I was over 300 pounds, and she was slim. And I don't know, to me, it was like she had a way about her, like, she would never invite me to anything. Like, if we spent time together, it was always at my house or at her house. But, like, if she went to a party or something like that, she would never invite me. Do you want to come along? And all her friends were slim like her. Now, I'm not going to say she was skinny. She wasn't skinny. She had a nice shape. She was just slim. I think she was maybe about 150 to 160 pounds. But she had a nice shape, small waist, big butt, short haircut. She would always wear a short haircut, whatever. My husband always said her face, she looked like a Sebastian, the crab from Little Mermaid. And that's what he used to call her all the time, Sebastian. And because she has somewhat like big lips or whatever. But I don't know. I don't think she looked like Sebastian. But he thinks she do. And you couldn't tell him nothing different. Like, if I ever mentioned her, or if he seen her coming across the street, he said, Tawana, Sebastian coming across the street. This is what he used to say. But there was a time where she, like, okay, I had a breast cancer scare one time. Now, around this time, me and her had developed a friendship. Now, this is years gone past. We had developed a friendship to where my daughter used to stay over at their house all the time. And I had became friends with her and her mother. And just, we did stuff, went on bus rides to Atlantic City and stuff like that. Well, she used to go with my family, because my family used to always do bus rides to Atlantic City, and a few times she came with us, and and stuff like that. And we had fun, and we had block parties on the block, and I used to have birthday parties and just barbecues in the summertime, and she was always there. She wound up having a liking for my brother, my older brother, and she used to try to get with him. But my brother has a thing about light-skinned girls. He loved light-skinned girls, and she wasn't light-skinned. She was darker than me, but she wasn't dark-skinned. She was just darker than me. But he didn't like her because she wasn't light. She wasn't light-skinned. And not to mention the fact that this friend, she was very free with herself. Let me say that, because she used to go. She herself had a friend, a male friend. I don't know if he was gay or whatever, but he used to host parties at his house. And they named his house the House of Sin. The House of Sin. And she explained to me, like, she opened up to me one time. And she told me, she said, at the House of Sin, what they do, they're all friends. It's a gang of them. And he hosts parties maybe like 2 or 3 times throughout the year. Maybe 2 or 3 times throughout the year, he gives a party at his house because he was a homeowner. And from what I was told, he had a very nice house, and he had money. I mean, he wasn't rich, but he had money. And 3 times out of the year, he would give a party. Like during normal days and weekends, he would host little dinners at his house, and that was okay. But these parties that he held 3 times out of the month was special. This was different from any other party. Any other party he had, that's what it was. It was a party. They had dinner, they would get together and eat and have dinner or watch. Sometimes they have, go to his house and watch football, stuff like that. So majority of the time his parties was normal, but it was only 3 times out of the year that he would host these parties. And these parties was different from any other party they had. These parties, everybody that came would get together, male and female, and they would gather together and they would all sleep with each other. It was one giant orgy. Now, so I was curious. I'm not gonna lie. I was curious, not because I wanted to be a part of it, but I was so curious because I had never heard anything like this before in my life. So I was like, so wait a minute. So when y'all get together, she said, well, the difference is we all know each other. So nobody's worried about, who's clean, who's not clean, this thing. I said, so wait a minute. How does this work? So she said, okay. She said, you could either be a couple or we could just be friends or whatever. It doesn't matter. She said, we have couples there. We have single people there. But once we get there, we all get together and we sleep with each other. I said, so would y'all go in separate rooms and just whatever? She said, no. Like, we can all be in one room or we go in separate rooms. So then she says, so it's like, for example, she said, is it all right if I use you as an example? So I said, go ahead, because I want to understand what you're talking about. She said, okay, so say if you and your husband come, right? And say if I was there with my husband. Now, she's not married, so she was just giving an example. She said, say if I was married and you and your husband was there, and like I would go off with your husband, you would go off with my husband, or we could just be in the same room and all 4 of us will be doing each other. So I said, men on men too? And she said, yeah. She said, it's like this. I can go from sleeping with your husband like me and him could be doing stuff, and then I'll move away from him and start doing stuff with you, move away from you and then start doing stuff with my husband, and we're all just going back and forth with each other like that. So I'm sitting there and my mouth is open. So I said, so men on men, men on women, women on women, women on men is just like I'll be kissing you and then turn from you and then kiss your husband and then turn from your husband and kiss my husband and then go back to you again. Or, and she said, yeah. She said, you could either choose to be in a group with everybody just doing everybody, or you can go in a separate room and you could take my husband with you in a separate room and I'll take your husband in a separate room. And she said, but we've been doing this for years. We all know each other. Everybody's clean, da da da. We make, and my friend, the owner of the house, he makes sure that everybody go get tested for AIDS and stuff like that before we do any of this stuff. But we do it like, he does it like 3 times out of the year. And we all get together. He, it's always on the same, in this, the same month, the same date of the month and stuff like that. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at her like, bitch, you nasty. And then the motherfucker had the nerve to invite me and my husband one time. She was like, if y'all want to come, y'all can come. I said, bitch, you done lost your motherfucking mind. I said, there's no way in the fuck. I said, why the fuck would you ask me some shit like that? She said, girl, I don't mean that. She started laughing. Girl, I don't mean nothing by it. I'm just asking because you was curious. I said, I was curious because I've never, ever in my life known anybody or heard anything like this before. So I was curious to how does this happen? What do y'all, who came up with this? And why are you okay with it? And I said, that's just like anything in life. If you've never heard about it before, you're going to be curious about it. That doesn't mean you want to do it. You want to take part in it. I'm like, girl, now, and she took back her invitation. She's like, I don't mean no disrespect. I just thought that because you asked me about it, that you was interested. Alexa, pause. Okay, that ain't working. Alexa, stop. So I was mortified that she even asked me some shit. But then again, I could understand her wondering if she might have piqued my curiosity to wanting to come. But hell no, bitch. Hell to the motherfucking no. Never in a day. Curiosity has nothing to do with what you're talking about. I've never heard of anybody saying anything like this. This reminds me of what is it? Sodom and Gomorrah. That's what it reminds me of. And aside from the Sodom and Gomorrah in the Bible, she's the only person that I've ever known to be a part of something like this. So it just baffled me, and I was just like, yo, this is crazy. When I told my husband about it, he was just like, nasty bitch. But so I remained friends with her after that, but she had never in her life brought it up to me ever again. She never asked me to go with her there. Because I read her for filth, and I cursed her ass out. Don't you ever ask me no shit like that, you know, to invite me to no shit like that, me or my husband, you know. But she never asked my husband. She asked me if I wanted to come, and I could bring my husband so he could see. No, bitch, what the fuck is wrong with you? No. So I remained friends with her after that because, after all, you know, I know they say you're known by the company you keep, but that's false because I'm not into none of that shit. I don't believe in cheating. I don't believe in fucking around behind my husband's back. I don't believe in flirting. None of that shit. I don't believe in none of that shit. I've been with my husband since I was 15, going on 16 years old, and never, okay, never had no issues like that with the cheating on both either side. I've never had to argue with no female. I've never had no girl calling his phone. I've never run into no female. He's never run into no niggas. He ain't never had no dude call me. We ain't never had none of them issues. Um, so yeah. But I remain friends with her because what she do with her body is not has nothing to do with me. As long as you don't bring it to my front door, don't ask me nothing about that. Don't speak on that too, because if she would have ever came to my husband and my husband would have ever told me that she came and asked him if he wanted to go or something like that, then I'd had to beat the bitch ass. Because you don't go to my husband asking him no shit like that. But she's never said nothing to him about it. She spoke to me. She never mentioned it to him or nothing like that. She only used to say, hey, Keith, or whatever. That was it. But one time, me and her, I had a house party. And she came, and she invited a friend of hers. One of these friends, it's a female. Her name was Angie, light-skinned girl. One of her females was looking at one of her friends, her friend Angie. She invited to a party that I have. Now, she didn't ask me if she could invite anybody to my house. She just invited her friend. And her friend was fascinated with my husband because my husband used to, before I met my husband, he used to DJ. So, he had turntables and all that. So whenever we had a party, my husband would always play the music and stuff. And I caught her friend standing there with my husband asking him questions about the music or whatever, this, that, and the third. So my god sister, right, was standing in the kitchen. And she asked my god sister, excuse me, the lady of the house, is she in here? So my god sister was like, no, not right now. So she's like, okay, could you do me a favor? I'm gonna be over there talking to that guy. When you see his wife, could you alert me when you see her? So my friend looked at her. My god sister looked at her and was like, yeah, I'll alert you. She said, all right. And then she went back over to where my husband was standing. She's over there asking him about DJ equipment, and she was asking him like how long he's been doing the DJ. First she asked him about some song, do he have some song or whatever. Then that's how she broke the ice, coming over there talking to him. Do you have a certain song, blah, blah, blah. So then she started asking him, do you know this song? Do you know that song? Da, da, da. And start looking through his records and stuff. And so I heard him say, don't touch that. Leave that alone, da, da, da. Oh, I'm sorry. So when I came downstairs, because I was trying to get my kids straight and get them in the bed and all of that. When I came downstairs, my god sister said, yo, that light-skinned bitch over there, I think she's trying to make a move on your husband. So I was like, wow, what happened? So she's like, she don't know who's who in this party. So she came over to me and asked me, do I know the lady at the house? And when I see you coming to alert her, because she's over there talking to the DJ, I said, oh, really? So I went to my friend, who I thought was my friend at the time. I went to my friend and I told her, yo, your friend Angie, I said, get that bitch out my house. Now, this is the thing. I could have threw her out, but my god sister was ready to cut her. But she just wanted me to know what was going on first. But she was ready to cut her. Both of my sisters was there. All of my cousins, my female cousins was there. My friends, homegirls, was at this party. I had a house full. When I tell you from front to back of my house was completely packed. And all of my people from when I was younger to older, all my friends, family, everybody was there. If I would have let it be known that this chick was trying to make a move on my husband, so what I did, I went to my friend Faye and I said, yo, get this bitch out my house. So she was like, what? What happened? What happened? I said, first of all, why the fuck you didn't ask me if you can invite this bitch to my house? This bitch in here trying to make a move on my fucking husband and gonna ask my god sister, do you know his wife? Because could you alert me when you see her coming? Because she want to be able to push up on my husband, but she want to make sure that if she see me coming, she step back and, play it innocent. Nah, bitch, get the fuck up out my house. Because what that let me know is that you one of them home wrecking type bitches that you will sleep with a married man. You don't give a fuck that he's married. You don't give a fuck that he got kids. Or that he has a good home and everything. You in my motherfucking house trying to push up on my fucking husband in my house. So you a dirty bitch. It's one thing which I don't approve of messing around with married men in any fashion or form. But the fact that you would do that shit inside my house shows that you have no morals whatsoever. So I told her, either get that bitch out of my house or she gonna get cut. And I told her what she was doing, and I saw her, she went and grabbed her friend by the hand. She said something to him, and her friend looked shocked, because she must have told her, his wife just came to me, you trying to talk to him, and his wife just told me to get you out. So she grabbed her friend by the arm, and she said something to her, and her friend looked shocked, like, oh shit. And she got her friend outside. So while they was outside, I went to the door, and I hear them arguing, and I hear the girl saying to her, oh, I didn't know that was her husband. And she was like, it doesn't matter what you know, how you gonna come in that woman's house and try to talk to her husband? She was like, I didn't know at first, and I just thought he was cute, and and then she says to her friend, Faye, you know how I am. I like a thick dude. I like a thick dude, and he got big hands, so I assume he had a big. And you know how I am, but I didn't know, I didn't know his wife was there. I was just I was told that he's married, but I didn't know his wife was there. That's why I asked that girl if she see it, because I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. So she was like, how are you not trying to be disrespectful? You're trying to talk to the woman's husband in her house, whether she saw you or not. You talking about it's only disrespectful if the woman catches you? So anyway, she made her friend leave, and I just told her, don't ever invite none of your fucking friends to my house. You didn't ask me permission to invite your friends. You shouldn't, I was trying to be nice, because even though she didn't invite her friend, I wasn't going to kick her friend out. But when you got friends doing shit like that, now I got to curse you out, and your friend got to go. So when she came in and I told her this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. But she was generally, I'm not going to even lie, she was generally mad at her friend. She was pissed off, because that makes her look bad, because I done brought you here. I didn't even ask permission. I just brought you, and then you come doing shit like that. So they was already upset that I brought you without asking, and now you pulling this shit. So that was that. So I didn't see my friend, my so-called friend, a few days after that, because I think she felt bad. But when I finally did see her, she apologized about her friend again and stuff like that. And then she was like, her and her friend not talking, because her friend felt like, well, you, my friend, you should have took my side. And she was like, no, because that's my friend too, and what you did is fucked up, So I'm not taking your side. But that was that. But now moving further on into the years, there was an incident where I was at the house, and my husband took the kids by this racing track where they used to race cars, and I was gonna ride my bike there, me and my sister, and my friend came across the street, and she saw my sister there. By this time, she knows who my sister is and stuff, so she seen my sister. So, and one thing about my so-called friend, she was an opportunist. If she thought you was the cool girl, she wanted to be a part of you and stuff. And my sister was always a hothead. She don't, my sister don't give a fuck about nobody. My sister, she likes to fight. She gets into it, and she dressed nice and stuff. But my sister was one of those girls like I don't give a fuck type of people. You know what I'm saying? And to some extent, I think that my friend was a little intimidated by my sister, so she wanted to be her friend. So, mind you, we all grown up in this bitch, but she wanted to be her friend. Like, she's still in high school days. So, so all three of us were supposed to get on our bikes and ride over to where my husband was with the kids. So I told him, all right, let me go upstairs to get dressed, and when I come down, we can all leave, right? Because we was gonna ride me and my husband's bike and one of my kids' bikes. When I came downstairs, my sister and my so-called friend was gone. They had left me because my sister was like, man, she taking too long. I'm tired of waiting. I'm out. You coming or not? So my friend decided, yeah, I'm going to come with you. Now, mind you, this is supposed to be my friend. This is supposed to be my friend. First of all, my thing is this. You're my sister. You shouldn't have left without me regardless. But then you're going to snatch up my friend. And then as my friend, you're my friend. You don't leave with my sister and leave me there. So they both was wrong. But that's when I knew right then and there. I was like, oh, okay, so she one of those. She's going to go wherever she's one of those, I want to be with the popular type of girl. I was, growing up, I was never the popular girl because I never was into that. Like, I wasn't a follower. I wasn't trying to be up under you because you was more popular. I went by the beat of my own drum. I was just my own person. If I had friends, I had friends. If I didn't, I didn't. I wasn't following behind nobody. I wasn't kissing nobody's ass. I wasn't trying to be nobody's friend. That was never me. If I was friends with you, I was genuinely friends with you because I really liked you and who you were. But I was never a follower. I was never a kiss ass. I was never any type of those type of people. But she is. So I was pissed off. I told her off and I told my sister off when they came back. But when I realized she really wasn't a friend was one time I went because I found a lump in my breast. My left breast, I found a lump. And I was so scared. I was so scared because my aunt, my mother's sister, died of, she died of breast cancer when I was 21. She had died of breast cancer. And so from the time I was 21 up until this age now, every year I get a mammogram without fail. I don't miss my mammograms appointments. I do not miss them. So this one time I was in the house and I was washing up and I was like, let me do a breast exam on myself. And I found a lump. And, well, no, I didn't find a lump. I found a dimpling on my breast. It was a dimpling and I kept moving my breast and, positioning it differently to see if it would change or whatever. Because my mom was going crazy. And when the dimpling wouldn't go away, that's when I got scared. I was like, what is that? What is that? And I went to the doctors and I made an appointment. I went and they found the lump. He said he found the lump. And he told me how big it was in size. Because they gave me a sonogram and stuff like that. And they told me how big it was in size. So I had to come back. They had to make an appointment for me to come back to have it removed so they could test it for cancer. When I tell you, that was the most scared I ever was in my life because because my aunt had died from breast cancer, and my grandfather, which is my aunt and my mother's father, he had died of liver cancer. So cancer runs through my family on my grandfather's side. So when he found the lump, your mind is going crazy. I'm not thinking that it could just be fatty tissue or, anything. I'm just thinking right away my mind goes to cancer because my aunt died of cancer and my grandfather died of cancer. So when I came from the doctor and the doctor told me that I had a lump and they removed it. I came home. My so-called friend came across the street, and I was like just sitting there crying. So she was like, girl, what's wrong with you? Da, da, da. Because she had came in the house, and my husband told her that I was upstairs. So I'm sitting on my bed, and I'm just like freaking out. I'm all in my head. I'm freaking out, and I'm thinking the worst. So I'm sitting there, and she sits next to me, and she was like, what's the matter, Tawana? What's the matter? Da, 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 da. What's wrong? So I told her I was washing up, and I saw a dimpling in my breast. It didn't go away, and it was a deep dimpling, so it wouldn't go away. And you know, so I went to the doctor, and they scheduled me an operation to remove the lump so they could test it. And I'm sitting there waiting to see if it's breast cancer or not. So now I have to wait for the results to see if it's breast cancer or not. You know what the hell this hoe said to me? She gave me a hug. And the bitch said, oh my gosh, are you serious? Oh, I'm gonna miss you. What am I gonna do without you? She's hugging me, and my face is like, because a friend would have said, girl, this ain't nothing. This is nothing. We're gonna cast it out. We're gonna pray on it. We're not gonna speak it through our tongues. We're gonna pray it away. We're gonna ask God to heal. We're gonna fight this. We're not gonna claim it. We're gonna rebuke it in the blood of Jesus. We're not claiming this. This is not what you think. Don't even think that way. You got to be strong. Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to be there with you through everything. Whatever you need. This bitch said, oh no, I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss you. What am I going to do without you? So you just went straight to I'm dying. Not one encouraging thing was said out of her face. We're going to beat this. It's not what you think it is. Don't claim that. Don't name it. Don't speak it into existence. Don't let that cloud your mind. It's nothing. We're not even going to assume anything. We're going to rebuke it. We're going to do none of that. Nothing encouraging. That bitch said, I'm going to miss you. So I leaned back and I said, so bitch, you already got me in a fucking casket? Oh no, I'm just saying, I don't know why I said that. Da, da, da. I told her, get the fuck out my house. I'm sitting here telling you that I just had an operation where they removed a lump and they got it tested to see if it's cancer. You know, I told you before that cancer run through my family. My aunt and my grandfather died of cancer. Her breast cancer, him liver cancer. And you're going to sit here and instead of you being a so-called friend to me and say, we're going to rebuke this, we're going to fight this, we're not going to accept this, we're not claiming this, you're going to tell me I'm going to miss you? I threw that bitch out my house. I threw that bitch out my house. And I told her, you was never my friend. You were never my friend. You never looked at me as your friend. I don't know what it was that you was looking for when you sought me out that first time you came in my house. I don't know what you was looking for, but it wasn't a friendship because you are nobody's friend. The fact that you would sit here and say some shit like that to me and I'm sitting here scared thinking that my life is over and you're going to sit here and hug me and say, I'm going to miss you as if you already counted me out. You already got me in the casket. You already planning my funeral. Bitch, you're not my friend. You the devil. I threw that bitch out of my house. And she tried, like the next day, I guess she figured I would, she'll give me a day to calm down. Try to come to me the next day and apologize. I don't know what was going through my head. Why would I say that? I said, yeah, why would you say that? Because a true friend wouldn't have never let them words come out of them. I said, I ain't got nothing else to say to you. I told her, don't come back to my house. I don't want anything to do with you. There's no need for you to come over here trying to apologize, this, that, and the third. I'm good. I don't need your friendship. I don't want your friendship, this, that, and the third. And like shortly after that, me and my husband, we had sold our house and we had moved to Georgia. And we was in Georgia for 2 years, and then we moved back to New York because I couldn't stand being away from my mother. So we moved back here, and I saw her little sister, and she was like, oh, she said, oh, y'all here visiting? And I was like, no, we here for good, da da da. And she was like, oh, I'm gonna call Faye and I'm gonna tell her. I was like, nah, don't call her. Her sister didn't know what had happened. So I just told her, sis, don't call her. I said, she busy, let her be busy. I haven't called her since. And I just, nah. With friends like that, you don't need enemies. But I'm like, this bitch was never my friend. Never my friend. Because at my lowest point, my scariest point, my most vulnerable point in life, and for you to say, I'm going to miss you, as if you already done counted me out. You already done picked out my funeral clothes and all of that. You done already put me in a casket. But you my friend. Anyway, that's how I realized once and for all that she was not my friend. She wasn't my friend from the very beginning. Up until that point, she was never my friend. And it took that moment for me to really realize. And when I realized, like, because that was crazy. And she lucky I didn't beat her ass, because I'm telling you, I tolerate a lot of stuff. I really do. I tolerate because I'm generally a nice person. I love people. I'm a very caring person. If I can help you, I will. I'm a very nice person. I try to get along with everybody. And I think that might be one of my downfalls, is that I'm always sweet. I'm always nice. I try not to make enemies and stuff like that. I'm just a nice person. That's just me. I don't like being mean to people. I don't like being nasty to people and treating people badly and stuff like that. Even when people have treated me bad, I still try to be nice. But if I get really pushed, I can be a beast, honestly. And anybody in my family can tell you, if you get me to the breaking point, I can be a beast. Because one thing I am is a fighter. I can fight my ass off. I have hands for days, but I don't like to fight. I don't like to argue. I get my feelings hurt very easily. But I only get my feelings hurt by people I care about. If I care about you, then you can hurt my feelings very easily. And if you hurt my feelings easily, it takes me to a place that I don't like to be. But I didn't care about her to the point where she could make me want to fight her. But I did care about her, but not to the point where she could really hurt me. But it just made me wake up to her to know that she wasn't my friend. She wasn't my friend. And I just told her to get the fuck out of my house and don't come back. And I don't need friends like her, And I don't make friends very easily, because I don't trust anybody. Every time that I've tried to be friend. See, one thing about me is, if you can't be the type of friend that I am, then I don't need you as a friend. Because I am a dedicated, loyal, loving, honorable friend. If I'm your friend, I'm your friend to the end. Like Chucky said, we're friends to the end. I'm your friend. I am a true friend. And a lot of people don't know what the definition of a true friend is. I'm not going to talk behind your back. I'm not going to kiki when somebody is talking shit about you. I'm not going to laugh. I'm not going to think it's funny. You know what I'm saying? And even if it's a family member, if you're my friend, I'm not going to laugh with my family, at your expense. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take sides against you. I will stay out of it. If anything, I'll be like, don't, if I know you and I know the other person and I'm friends with both of you, I'm not going to sit up and talk about you to my friend, and I'm not going to talk about my friend to you. I'm not doing that. I'm not playing both sides. Leave me out of it. If y'all got beef with each other, I don't want to hear about your gripes with her. I don't want to hear about her gripes with you. Leave me out of it, because I'm not taking your side against her. I'm not taking her side against yours. Leave me out of it. I'm not about to be the middleman. I'm not about to be put in the middle between y'all bullcrap. Leave me out of it. I love you and I love you, and that's just how it is. And if you're sick, I'm going to come over. I'm going to bring you soup. I'm going to sit with you if that's what you need. I'm going to be there for you. If you need me to come with you to the hospital, to the doctor, if you're scared, I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to hug you. I'm going to come to the doctors with you. I'm going to do what I need. If you need a babysitter and I'm free, and you want to go out, you and your husband or you and your boyfriend haven't had any quality time, and y'all need somebody to help you out, I will be that friend to come, and I will sit with your kids for a couple of hours and give you time to go out with your man and have a good time. That's the type of friend I am. I am a true friend. So if you can't meet me at my level of friendship, I don't want to be friends with you. And that's why till this day I have one friend. Her name is Nikki. I have one friend, and we don't see each other hardly at all. But she will tell me all the time, I love you. I tell her all the time, I love you. We've been friends since we was teenagers, and I've never had an issue with her. She's never had an issue with me. I've never heard anybody say that she said anything negative about me, and she has not heard anything of me saying anything negative about her. When we do see each other, it's all love, and we hug each other, and we love each other so much, and I love that. And she's the only friend that I have that is like me, and that's why we're still friends till this day. But yeah, this is what happened, and that's when I knew. I always had doubts about her friendship, but it was at that precise moment that I realized that this girl has never been a friend to me. She's never been a friend to me. So I just ended the friendship, and that was that. That was that. And I mean, I'm still friends. Me and my husband are still friends with her brother. We call him our little brother. And, we still friends with him. And he doesn't understand what's wrong with his sister or whatever, because they're not close anymore. But he says her and her boyfriend bought a house in Atlanta, Georgia. And they, big house with a big yard and stuff. She's living good. They're still not married. They just boyfriend and girlfriend. But I mean, the house, from what he said, the house is really his house, and she lives with him or whatever. But yeah, she lives in Atlanta now. She's been there for about 10 years now. And she, from what I hear, she's living pretty good or whatever. She's not rich, but she lives pretty good. And I'm happy for her. I'm glad she's living good. And hopefully she's not still doing the same thing she was doing before, the house of sin. Hopefully she outgrew that. That's crazy. But yeah, that's how I realized that she wasn't my friend. Yeah, if y'all ever have friends that try to get y'all to do stuff that they know for a fact is something that you don't agree with, don't approve of, or they know, let me tell you, if you have a friend that's been around you long enough, they know your character. They know what you are capable of, what you're not capable of, what you will do, what you won't do, what is your pet peeves and stuff like that. They know you, and they know you well enough to know that certain things you are not going to be okay with. So if they ask you to do stuff out of your character, then they're not your friends. They're not your friends. Because a true friend is not going to ask you to do something out of your character, and they know daggone well that this is not how you get down. So if they ask you, then they're not your friends. But anyway, y'all, that's my story time. And I will catch y'all on the next one, y'all. Until I see y'all again, until I speak to y'all.